Okay, we got some things to finally talk about here. And starting off with the, let's see, do it this way. The new Section 31 trailer for Star Trek Section 30. Here remains a controversial addition to the canon. No, it doesn't remain an addition to the canon. It means a violation of the canon. Again, if you're a Johnny-come-lately to the thing, if you are not put there by either Gene Roddenberry or someone who was appointed by Roddenberry to do it, anything you do is not an addition to the canon. It's either compliant with the canon or it's non-canon. Discovery was non-canon. Section 31 is wildly non-canon. We can tell just from the trailer. Get into the details why, but it's like this is it's a dumpster fire. Every trailer they put out, it's like, really? Because it's from Porto here. See, Star Trek Section 31 remains a film that is sure to tug the fandom in different directions. Though no one should be surprised about that, Section 31 has, for the entirety of Star Trek up until the point, including Star Trek Discovery, been the bad guys. They torture, murder, there should be another comma there. Other than saying they torture, murder. How do you get torture, murder? They torture, murder, steal, lie, and do their depraved things. The group was only really created to be an authority figure for some captain to stand up to who isn't an admiral. And also, when DS9 gave it to us, officially they did not exist. Section 31 was a colloquialism because that's where they got their authority from. In the Federation Charter, it's Article 4, Section 31. Enable, do certain things off the books to inquire security of proper security of the Federation. So these are the guys that do the wet work. The jobs that even Starfleet intelligence is too squeamish to go on about. They answer to no one. That's and Odo said, "Yeah, I've never heard of them either, but it makes sense. You need every major power. They has their own super clandestine operation." And you're kind of wondering why doesn't the Federation have one themselves? Well, they do, and they're much better keeping their tracks covered for a long time. But again, officially, they didn't exist. They didn't have comm badges or fleets or ships or bases. This is where they totally lost it when Kurtzman got his hands on it. It means he didn't watch the episodes. He saw a notation. Oh, they got a secret organization like the CIA? No, not like the CIA. More like the NSA used to be. Before that, they got declassified because for a long time, NSA would stand for no such agency. Or MI6 during the war. Officially, they did not exist. Section 31 was that way. Officially, they did not exist, prior to showing up. And even then, it's like, no. So that they totally mucked it up. The CIA is a publicly known organization, always has been. What they do is classified the wazoo, but the headquarters is a big-ass building in Langley. Even grabbing cars with CIA on the license plate. See, they introduces a plot device and a little more. Now, someone with enough power and clout will attempt to turn them from torturous traitors of everything Starfleet is supposed to be against into a plucky ragtag group of heroes. Similar to that of Guardians of the Galaxy, each of the trailers from the movie has embraced that marketing. Things are quippy and with lots of humor and even more action. It's like a science fiction show from sci-fi in the mid 2010s. But the Killjoys and Dark Matter had the freedom to be more than their original ideas. They weren't burdened or supported by 60 years of fandom love. Or like they weren't, having to try, work against 60 years of established lore. So they could be anything they wanted to be. Yet for Star Trek to follow a similar path has rubbed fans the wrong way. Yes, there are many fans who are intrigued by the new film, especially after the latest trailer. Define many. But many, many more are just as upset that those other fans are intrigued. It's a flawed concept, a movie that spits in the face of Star Trek's ideals. At least that's the idea we're sold. In an attempt to keep pace with the Star Wars of the worlds, Star Trek has expanded its universe into new areas fans never wanted to go because that's what other brands have done. And frankly, some of those other brands shouldn't have gone there in the first place either. Yet, after watching the second trailer, Section 31's marketing team has done very little to sell me or others on the concept of the film. If it wasn't my job to watch it, I wouldn't. I hope it's good. I didn't like the idea of Star Trek 2009, but I enjoyed it. I didn't. There's a possibility that this film is much more serious than it's being advertised as. If it is, then the people who handle the promotional work should be fired. You really think that the writers are any better? Another thing, advertising people, they work on a different level. But their whole job is to take what they've given and try and make it somewhat intriguing and show the excitement and stuff. And this is the best they can do. We got problems. Okay. Let's see. If it's not more serious and it's exactly what we think it is, a weak clone of films like Guardians of the Galaxy and Killjoys, then the people who pitched it should be fired. Either way, the film hasn't hit home with all of us, though with stunning performers like Michelle Yeoh and Omari Hardwick, there is hope. No, Michelle Yeoh is not. No one's immune from signing on to a turkey, especially because she loves the character. It's her chance to play the Dragon Lady. She's made her, mark as a serious actor. She's got that Oscar. She's got a career showing, and then now it's time to, relax, kick back, and go ahead and lay into the stereotype, She's been fighting against the typical, Dragon Lady Asian type. It's like, let's play with it for a while. She's having fun. That doesn't mean that this movie is not going to be a dry turd on toast when it finally shows up. Okay. Hope they can make most of middling scripts into something impressive. Yeah, thankfully, this thing it was going to be an ongoing series. Thankfully, somebody at Paramount, kind of, no, actually, no, you're only getting one. You're getting a one-off. Apparently, the contract, I guess, didn't extend to any series of. No, we don't have to prove anything at this point. You passed that point. The only time we'll tell this over-the-produced action-heavy trailer filled with one-dimensional character archetypes proves itself to be the shallow byproduct of a creatively lacking leadership group, or if it's a bold step forward into an area of Star Trek ripe with possibilities. And hey, they've already shown that these guys are. It's already DOA. Nobody wanted this in the first place, especially the way they mishandled Section 31 from the get-go. Only the true cockeyed. Well, maybe they can get this right. And based on what? Their performance to this point has been abysmal from the get-go. When the hell? Well, maybe they can get it right this time. How many billions of dollars this point has been spent on them trying? So maybe this will work. So far, the only live-action stuff that has worked has been season 3 of Picard. Because they brought in somebody from the old school. Granted, he was an underling then, but he was around when the real stuff was being made, so he knows how the sausage is made, how to mix the spices right. That's the only one that worked. And even then, he was still hamstrung by a few things you had to keep. Otherwise, he was ready to junk the whole thing and do a total reboot, I'm pretty sure. But he was stuck with a few things like Picard's, robot body. Okay, fine. Let's see if we can turn some chicken shit into chicken salad here. And he managed to succeed for the most part. It's the first one, really, since 2005 that actually felt like Star Trek. Yeah. Let's move on here. In fact, let's keep on the dealing with Section 31 here, because a little something that they dig into here, and Chad Porter again. Needlessly retcons iconic Star Trek original series episode. The greatest stories remain untouched, not used for cheap callbacks that unravel an entire storyline. And this is relevant to apparently someone from Sharon showing up in there. When Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, the whole point at the end was like they all wiped each other out. There are only two left, Bill and Loki, and they were determined to kill each other. And Sean, oh no, they're not totally dead. One of them got away. See, that kind of cheapens the whole thing. And apparently he's just there. Oh, yes, you need to talk to Big Boss Man. Come right this way. Really? But it's also, if you look at the makeup design of the guy, it kind of tells me the old stereotype. They never watched the episode. They didn't even bother to really look at any pictures. They saw the Mego action figure. Because the thing, this guy, Bill and Loki, yeah, didn't matter which side was which one white. They had brown hair. This character, the black and white, is in the hair too. That's for the Mego action figure. Not exactly a good resource for authentic things to go for so that. And again, I don't think there's going to be anything more than just he's a character that shows up and leads our merry band to the big bad. So the only plausible deniability there is that, well, maybe he's not really a Sharon, he's something similar. But then that also flies in the face because in the episode Let That Be Our Last Battlefield, nobody ever heard of a race with this kind of coloration. So these people are idiots. They are true idiots. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're proving it. Oh, it's a callback. It's a callback that should not happen. It's like this is, again, we're about to bring up Section 31. There's between these idiots and Section 31. Or Lower Decks, rather. Lower Decks does a reference. They know what they're talking about. When they call back, that makes sense. It makes sense to make this reference here. There is a continuity. They maintain the continuity. This is why it's being mentioned, and this makes sense here. These morons at Discovery and Strange New Worlds and now Section 31, they make a callback. They're just something that, they saw something on, this looks cute. And never get to the part where this character should not be here. This isn't how it works. They see the notation, Section 31, a secret part of the Federation. And officially they do not exist. No one should know about them. Let me get the comment here. Yeah, I'll try to get some Fortnite going later. I did manage to schedule a payment for Xfinity. I haven't paid, it's going to be in about a week. Hopefully if they are throttling back my internet because of this, hopefully they'll back off on that. But they really shouldn't be doing that crap in the first place, but who the hell's going to stop them? But that's why this whole thing, we don't want fans. No, you better get some fans, and if you'd make it a big deal about having a canon advisor. Well, freaking listen to your canon advisor. They probably, this race got wiped out after this episode. Then don't pull them up at a point where clearly this is after that episode. If there's going to be any kind of canon advisor, you should have actual veto power over storylines. Otherwise, it's not really good as a canon advisor, is he? He needs to have a certain amount of authority. Say, no, this will not happen. Shouldn't just be there to say, this to let you know this is how you're violating canon. We're going to do it anyway. Well, then screw you. And you got no freaking business even doing this crap, do you? Let's see, let's get that out of the way and deal with this last one here. A little happier note to part on here. Jerry O'Connell, it happened the last week's episode, Upper Decks, where it's like, we've been looking at the lower deckers all along. Let's give the upper deckers a chance to shine. And so, what does the senior staff do? And and it's kind of a bit of a throwback to the standard thing. Every show has been you're looking at the lead, the captain or the commander and whoever the leadership team, of the ship or the station. So we can make a lot, because they also think about, well, Cisco was a commander. He was still, a commander. He was in command. By that score, it wouldn't matter if it was, a runabout with a lieutenant junior grade in charge. You're still talking about a commander on the ship. You're following the people in charge and what they do. So I don't like to think, well, what about Cisco? He's a command. He was still in command. Okay. All right. Throughout the history of Star Trek, 2 rules have always been key for each and every show: have a captain, have a ship. That was just as likely with Star Trek Deep Space Nine. After all, Ben Cisco, commander, irrelevant, and they were on a space station. But it's close enough. Every show after that has followed the same path until Star Trek Discovery. There, the main character was an insurrectionist, but hey, they had a ship. And like Cisco in Deep Space Nine, the main character with Discovery eventually became a captain. God knows why. Should have been put under the bear. Should have been the first episode should have been her first and last. Should have been promptly put under the stockade and never heard from again. There's no redemption unless she started a damn war. How many billions of people died because she, had to get hot-headed and start a damn war. So then enter Lower Decks. You turn the whole thing upside down. This is how you properly do it. Because Mike McMahon's pitch, it's like, who are the guys down in the bowels thing, so that when somebody upstairs pushes a button and a banana comes out of the replicator. That's, and he knew how to play to Kurtzman's thing, because they got the thing going, and they've done very good. And they do actually have a very nice balance. It's like, they like to goof off. It's a little lackadaisical, but when the crunch time comes, everyone knows to step up and do their jobs. And this is an example of this last episode where they were up shit creek and they managed to pull it out. And it was funny watching it too. There were some pretty good gags in there. But that some gone was the focus of the senior officers, the true heartbeat of the ship, and the brains that make things fly. And he's missing a few words here. And so impressing this probably instead were, well, not them. Less impressive officers are goofing around and doing very little in reality to help things move forward. Also gone the bridge. We saw it from time to time, and we saw several Federation ships' bridges as well. Yet it was never the true focus of the show, at least until now. In the latest episode from Lower Decks, entitled Upper Decks. All right, that's good. Okay. All right, we finally see the goings-on of the bridge crew. The secondary characters, who would usually be the main characters in any other show, took center stage. Something Jerry O'Connell was very happy about, playing the wisecracking, jockey-like commander, Jack Ransom. O'Connell has stolen so many scenes in the show, but always as a secondary character. Well, in Upper Decks, he got a chance to shine, a chance he was all too happy to have. Speaking with the All-Access Star Trek podcast via TrekMovie.com, O'Connell gushes about having the spotlight on the bridge crew, saying, I thought, finally we're getting on the bridge. It's been about time. I know the show is called Lower Deck, but let's be real. Star Trek is all about what goes on the bridge. That's where the real decisions are made. That's where the grown-ups are. I mean, I understand Lower Decks is about the shenanigans that happen in the Lower Decks. By the way, they have like 4 to a bunk. Oh, and stuff's trying to get in here. All right. But that's the 4 to a bunk. What else? Get us to the bridge. That's what it's all about. In a way, I like to see what O'Connell could do in a live-action show as Ransom. He's clearly a fan of the franchise, and he's aware of the history and love and lore that surrounds the significance of the bridge crew. Not to mention, it's a family affair for O'Connell. His wife co-stars on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Yeah, she plays number 1. And it'd be great to see what O'Connell could do in a more live-action sense. And considering we've already seen members of the cast appear on Strange New Worlds, why not him as well? One of the ideas bounced around, by the way, for how to continue the Lower Deck, the Cerrito story is, how about a live-action one? Because all the characters are based upon, the character designs are based upon the guys who are doing the voices. So the only one you'd really have a problem with at that point is Tiana, the Cation doctor. Let me get this up here. From there, you might have to do some mocap and some extensive makeup here, but everyone else, mostly got to do with like Noel Wells with paint her green. And nowadays, we wouldn't even really do that because you can tweak the color correction so make her green without having to spend a few hours being spray painted. In which case, the most radical thing is just shaving the side of her head. But yeah, that's the difference between Lower Decks and the rest of them and Lower Decks and Prodigy, and also to the Picard season 3. That's what happens when you actually have people who know the franchise in there to do what they do. In Picard season 3, Peter Metal's like the actual work history, because he started as a PA on DS9. Was Braga's assistant on Voyager, and they got a little more authority when he was doing Enterprise. So he worked for back when they still knew what they were doing, when they actually people who could add to the canon. Whereas JJ Trek, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, they kind of gone out of their way. And the first 2 seasons of Picard get people who were not Star Trek fans. In fact, if you said you're a Star Trek fan, you're pretty much automatically, dropped from consideration. Where you get actual people who know what the hell they're doing. Amazing. They get good shows out of it. The big, I think when Walter Mosley was supposed to be starting writing for Discovery, and he was relating a story that happened to him. It was an LA cop. They pulled him over, and basically a case of Mosley was being pulled over for, the DWB, driving while black in a white neighborhood, and told in no uncertain terms, you don't want to be around here right now. And a few choice words were, used that we can't say anymore in open conversation, even when we're just quoting. And some little weenie in the writer's room got his nose bent out of shape and went crying to HR.
Oy.
Now again, he was relating something that had happened to him. He wasn't calling anybody the N-word. He wasn't advocating for it. He using naughty words. We degenerated all freaking kindergartners here.
My God, can you imagine what would have happened?
That's the thing that really gets me. And kind of this whole N-word thing started with the OJ trial, when they started calling it the N-word, and then there's like, he had the N-word, he had the N-word. It's like, that's what it amounts to, really.
You sounded like Cartman when you did that.
Yeah, that's about that's all. He said the F-word. He said the N-word. Really?
Oh God.
Again, that's a good. Right now, then what are we, kindergartners now? We can't. I'm gonna fill this up. I mean, it's never been a nice word, but it used to be at least say it to make a point,
Yeah, kind of like that scene in what was it, Rush Hour?
I haven't seen Rush Hour, but I think the whole thing, even back when they were doing Blazing Saddles. This is mid '70s, and they were saying you can't say that. We'll have it. When they missed the point of why they used it, over and over again to try, to show how ridiculous it was and rob it of its power.
Basically, what happened in this scene was Chris Tucker walks into this bar full of black guys, and like, what's up, Mike?
Yeah, okay.
And then Jackie Chan walks in,
tries it, and he's like, no, you're not allowed. Yeah. Yeah, you do not have a brother card. You do not get to do that. Yeah. And it's one of those things. It's like, no, it's not particularly fair. It's not even, but it is reality. We do not have the requisite melanin count to use those words with impunity. Okay. I would have to have someone of some stature. Uh, like if I were to, say, not even quarter Black Garrett, I don't think would be able, would be able to give me. And I would have to have Chris Rock on here, on this stream, or Chris Tucker. Do I have your permission to use the N word openly without sounding like a damn kindergartner? Can we speak openly here and just let it go?
Oh dear God. Oy. Yeah, I'm still remembering back when we were still working at DPS.
Mm-hmm. No,
And
we would have to. I'd have to. Well, Chris Tucker and Chris Rhodes. Yes, you are now an honorary. You can talk about. All right, let's be honest here.
yeah,
Not having to sound like a
I
fucking
mean that
toddler.
that was the first time I ever heard Mexican Americans use that other term, and
Well,
it was like,
outside, outside. Well, this is Well, I don't know. I think the word is wetback. Okay, I mean, for it's a reference, a specific reference to someone who came here illegally. Because the wetback referring to they're still wet on the back of their from the yeah, no, yeah, they do used it more than once on and all all in the family and stuff in Jefferson. But the only time I've heard that used outside of reference to a certain government program initiated by Eisenhower to deport illegals, it was called Operation Wetback. And then maybe but the only time I've heard that term used in any kind of general conversations was by Mexicans, and Hispanics, which kind of shows that anybody with the ideas of catering to the illegal migrant thing will help us with the Hispanic vote. No, it won't. It doesn't. They do. These people really don't like the illegals, mainly because it makes them look bad. Doesn't matter. By comparison, we have people in this state who qualify for pioneer tags, which means their family had been here since before this was a state. This part of the state used to be part of Mexico. So, yeah, we have very deep Hispanic roots in this state. And someone who just came across the border last week getting stuff like it makes them look bad because no, they're not with us. We're here legally. We've been here before you were. That sort of thing.
yeah, I still
So
remember
yeah.
some of our coworkers. It's like,
Well, yeah, they had this big, trying to stand up, and solidarity thing, and one of the drivers, or I think one of the drivers, had a daughter who's a student and asking her thing. No, you ain't going to that. You ain't no wetback. You're staying there your ass is staying in class.
and she, if I recall, you said was Puerto Rican.
Yeah, actually, that whole bunch of them were Puerto Rican. Yeah.
But yeah, some of the drivers that I worked with, most of the time hated our guts. But one time,
yeah,
I got a couple of them on my route when my driver was out, and oh my god,
yeah,
it was like wetback this, wetback that.
Yeah.
I mean, one complaint that I heard a lot was that this one gal said that she went in to apply for for temporary food stamps while she was off for the summer.
She's in the runaround while somebody who's still got Mexican plates on his truck, for the gardening thing, they roll up the red carpet.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why, you wonder why, Trump is winning major numbers with the Hispanic vote. That's why. They don't want them here because, again, it affects them directly.
Yeah,
it's a major league annoyance to the rest of it. It affects them directly because now it's like people look at them weird. It's like, what'd you do to get here? I was born here. Fuck you. It's like,
I'm starting to hear reports that President Sippy Cup is trying to sell off, bits from the from the wall, that haven't been constructed yet.
Most of them they'll do is let it sit there and rot, and
He's actually selling the shit.
he's trying to. I think it's not like everything's a bureaucratic nightmare dealing with that stuff. So it's like the thing is, a lot of stuff, the electronic stuff has been let's just let this sit there and rot in the weather this whole time, so it's going to be replaced anyway.
Yeah.
No, it's a mess. But no, when I was working at McDonald's, we had a guy there. We knew he was illegal. Dumber as a box of rocks, but then.
Yeah, we had one guy at the McDonald's up on Youngfield that was actually deported because his visa had expired, and I guess he forgot to renew it.
Yeah. Conveniently forgot to renew it.
Yeah.
So like that guy in that, short-lived Rob Schneider sitcom. That's talking to him. Oh, he's going back in a few weeks. I'm never going back, ever.
It has like one thing I gotta say though on the whole thing is at least Rey Mysterio's parents had the good grace to actually go back and go.
Well, yeah, they were, they were born in San Diego, but they moved back to, yeah, we're here because the hospitals are better. We're not here to, we're going back. They went back. So he did grow up in Mexico, but that does bring up an issue though, because the whole thing about birthright citizenship, it's in the Constitution. No, it isn't really. It's been a misinterpretation. The 14th Amendment. It's like born and naturalized within the borders and subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Foreign nationals are not really subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S.
Yeah.
Other than just following the laws. And thinking, well, why they're right? I think it's even the author of the amendment. This is not to convey birthright citizenship on anybody who comes across and drops a kid.
Yeah.
It was intended to convey citizenship to freed slaves and counter the Dred Scott decision. That's like, no, these people are not property. They are people. They are citizens, and they are entitled to their rights.
And our military bases are considered U.S. soil, right?
Bases, not so much. But the thing is, the personnel there are U.S. citizens, and they are subject to, again, they are subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. So, yeah, any child they're born is U.S. citizen.
Yeah, I was talking about, like, Katrina from Katrina and the Waves.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she was born in, overseas. Huh?
I thought she was.
No, I can trick it.
And that little girl from Aliens.
Yeah, same thing. The same butt.
Yeah, she was born at Lakenheath, but
yeah. Yeah, and Katrina, her dad was the base commander at Lakenheath.
And if I recall, Victoria Principal is also born in Japan, but
yeah.
I think her dad might have been military.
Okay, Katrina Lescanet. I can find a bio, just her. Yeah, the band starting, Cambridgeshire. That's where Lakenheath is roughly. Come on. Yeah, they were doing a school production of R.F. Lakenheath. Vincent noticed Katrina and asked her to join his band. Okay, there we go. That's a link to hers. Yeah, she is 4 years older than I am. She was born in Topeka, Kansas. So.
Mm-hmm.
Father was a Vietnam vet, colonel in the Air Force, had 5 siblings. Yeah, they showed up in Lakenheath in '76. So. And graduated from RAF Lakenheath High School in 1978. Yes, they have full on, bases overseas because Bentwater, Woodbridge had their own high school too. I don't think I think they bust them all over the Woodbridge for that because they didn't do it at Bentwater. I think I could be mixing that up. I'm pretty sure the high. Well, no. No, I think actually the high school was on Bentwaters. That's where most of the civilian stuff was. Woodbridge was not much there. They're also pretty spread out, so it's pretty easy to lose track of where the hell they are.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I think Victoria Principal was born in Japan, but
yeah, but again, it was military, family, U.S. It's like it'd still be U.S. citizen because her family was not subject to the jurisdiction of the Japanese government. They're Americans, and most countries. Trump misspoke about we're the only country that does that. We're not the only one. We're one of the very few that do it. Most countries that no. Your child is not a citizen because they're born here. You're a citizen of your country, And so he's lied about it. He's not lying. He misspoke a bit. He's also forcing people to do a little homework, which you're not doing. But there's a Supreme Court ruling back. Oh, yes, it conveys. No, it doesn't. Okay, there's been no law establishing that. It's all been, just one court got it wrong and nobody's willing to challenge it until now.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an executive order ending birthright citizenship, and there'll be a court challenge, and then they'll go and they'll finally settle it. Yeah. All right. I think at some point I need to start attacking this Batmobile thing. Now that I finally got the parts, and the intervening things, start putting things together and mounting the engine and stuff. Get that frame put together. I will not be doing a stream on that because I don't have the camera set up here for that. You don't need to be watching the top of my head for a lot of it, or me screaming because I drop a screw. So
yeah, hopefully the final shipment will be coming.
Right now, I'm just putting the frame together. Okay. I don't think I've got all 4 wheels just yet. I got 3, I think. So it's gonna be a while. All right. Like the next shipment is still more internal, frame pieces, parts, the exhaust and stuff.
Yeah.
We're not going to see the end of the road in this until I start seeing body panels show up. Okay.
And every time I have to bail your ass out, that puts me in even worse jeopardy.
Well, yeah, that's like we start plotting things out a little better. It's manageable, especially since now I'm no longer any gaps in the thing, and plus you'll be getting the cost of living increase soon. So.
Yeah, I might almost cover all the floats I've taken out this month.
That'd be good. Yeah. Every little bit, get us out of the hole.
I'll have to take out even more floats next month just to cover next month's expenses.
We shall see. Okay. Another thing is we'll put this up because our rent is going up significantly in February. Because one of the vicious little things about our housing situation is they start making more and then they start demanding more, greater percentage of the rent, which kind of makes it hard to really get ahead. In
other words, they're vicious assholes.
Pretty much, it's the lovely contradictions of government programs that are meant to help you. Yeah. Now they're raising the rent to the point where it's no longer covered by my paycheck. Unless I get a bit of a raise, at least Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, weren't we talking about illegals?
We got into that. I don't want to go too dark into that though, because this is supposed to be a Star Trek theme. So we have an audience, believe it or not. So anybody has any questions, feel free to pop in. But yeah, Section 31 is going to drop like a wet turd on sometime in January. Next week, I'm going to hopefully also track down a better an updated editing situation, and I think I'll just do a complete run review of the entire season of Lower Decks. I haven't been able to do a proper episode by episode review because of my technical problems here. So I think just wrap it all up and just do season 5 as a whole. It's only 10 episodes. I should eventually get around to actually watching season 2 of Prodigy, but the current election and the antics of the cast and certain members of the cast have frankly put me off of watching that. Namely Bob Picardo and his big mouth. And also the thing is like it's easy when it comes out week by week. It's something Netflix hasn't figured out. When it's released one episode at a time, week at a time, you can take it. But when you dump the whole thing, it's all 20 episodes at once. Okay. Yeah. I really don't want to binge all a 10-hour binge right now. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I've been binging a lot of my shows is because I got into them kind of late. So yeah, I was binging entire season.
Yeah.
Like that. Like that one that Zoe Saldana's been doing that I want you to watch sometime. I like Zoe.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I mean, even if her as Uhura was kind of meh, I still like her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, there's one little project of hers that I watched once, and I was like, what the hell? That was when they did that remake of Rosemary's Baby. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, my first thought was like, eh.
Yeah, well, one more remake, and I'll see if remakes.
Yeah, not even a former Bond girl in the cast could save that thing.
No, my Dragon's Back. The never-ending quest for Star Trek 4. Getting the 4th. I think Paramount needs to just give it up. Too much time has gone by. And you talk about franchise. Franchise fatigue only really happens when you have too much bad product. If everything was good, the fans, oh great, another one. Then when it's like, oh God, another one. How are they going to fuck this one up?
Yeah, speaking of franchises,
because I'll tell you, I was not enthusiastic about Lower Decks when I first heard about it. Really, fumbling on the heels of the shit show they discovered was at that point, and the idiocy of Picard. It's like, now we're gonna do a sitcom cartoon, based on the guy. Really, But then once you saw it, okay, all right, this is good. These guys know what they're doing. But I did not go in with high hopes. And that's the thing going in with everything else. It's like, because so much other stuff was just utter crap. Strange New Worlds. No, it is not the greatest thing since sliced bread. The only thing to help them is the fact that they've returned to the same formula as the original series of episodic stories and focusing on the mission that thing. But that only goes so far.
With Lower Decks wasn't half bad.
Yeah, it's the only episode I haven't watched from them since the first one. The rest of it's just total bilge and total wasted opportunity. Why It's like that's a big thing, big question. Why did they do? Why are you recycling characters who do not have any business being there? They could, the only characters established who should have been there was really Pike, number one, and Spock. Of the ones they got, and the rest of them, they bring in Dr. Mbenga. Why him and why not Dr. Boyce, who we know was the chief medical officer on board? Where's Lieutenant Tyler? Where's Yeoman Colt? Where are the characters we did see in the cage? No, they're all shipped in, and we start dragging in Uhura, who has no business being on that ship. Mbenga, no business being on the ship. Chapel, no, there's no.
Yeah.
The only novelty in having Chapel there, and with number one, is you had two characters that were played by Major Barrett at the same time. Only one of them belongs there.
Yeah. Yeah, but speaking of franchise,
manager shoehorning in, Scotty. Like, no, he shouldn't be there. It's like, but again, the fact that they stapled themselves to the hip of Discovery within the first episode, with Spock saying he still missed his sister. It's like, well, that's it. There was any pretense of being prime timeline anyway. I hate that term, prime timeline anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, speaking of franchises being overdone. Yeah, guess what's getting ready to come out? 28 years later.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Danny Boyle, really?
Well, because the last one didn't have him, and it's like, no, but I put a comment I put on there about, that's it. The first one was okay. The second one I felt downright insulting. So I'm not even going to bother with the third one. I'm not into zombie stuff anyway. So.
Yeah. I think the only reason we went to see the second one was because we got freebies.
Well, we had free passes, and then it's like they're handing out free passes. Like it's kind of like we're sorry. We're sorry you had to go through this. Here.
Oh, kind of like when I went with that one guy from Stormbringer to see
JJ Trek in the first one. Well, that one's like the air conditioner broke down, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, you weren't around for that.
No.
Oh my God, I was melting.
For context, the Continental Theater. It's over 900 seats. It's one of the old big ones. But the only one left in town. We used to have three of them. Now we just got the one, the Continental. So 900 people breathing, exhaling, and no air conditioning. It's going to get hot and sweaty real quick. Yeah. Especially, this came out in the summer, right?
Yeah, if I recall.
Yeah. So yeah, it was already kind of hot.
You also went to see a screening of the thing.
I saw it at one the theater out in up by Stapleton area. One of the malls they built up out there.
Harkins.
Yeah, the Harkins thing, but it was more of a typical multiplex type thing. Because I got a pass, I was like, okay, fine. I'm not paying for it.
Yeah. Now there is one theater I would love to go to. If we ever get the chance.
What?
That multiplex inside the O2.
Well, that's London. Okay.
Yeah, they've got one auditorium in there that's like over 1,000 seats, I think.
Well, that is London, so don't hold your breath. Yeah.
Oh, you're the one that wants to go over there, dear.
To England, not necessarily London, okay?
Why can't we go to London?
Because City Khan is doing his best to turn the entire city into a ghetto. I mean, there's a few spots in London I wouldn't mind. I'd like to see the British Museum again and a few other places, but it's like otherwise, it's like it's a nice place to visit, but don't stick around, you know.
And I want to go to Harrods.
It's a department store.
I know. I also want to go to Selfridges.
Yeah. I want to get back to Forbidden Planet.
Yeah. Well, wasn't old Harry Gordon the one who put who put the perfume displays near the front doors?
Mm-hmm. To counter the stinkiness of Victorian London streets.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think he was doing that when he was still back in Chicago.
That may have been an idea they had, you know, when working with Montgomery Ward, but you know,
that is one of the few characters I've seen where Jeremy Piven wasn't playing a total asshole.
That was a vacation for Piven, you know. Because Ari, that was a great stress relief, but he was exhausted and he'd break things. I mean, seriously, when he went, you know, things that the props they weren't planning on breaking keyboards and stuff, but he would really go at it.
Oy vey.
So it's a case of don't get anything functional. It won't be when you're done with it. So playing Harry was like a vacation. He doesn't have to rant. He doesn't have to go crazy. Harry was just placid and very serene. There's such a positive guy.
He could be a bitchy asshole at times, though.
Big part of his career is that was being the bitchy asshole. You know.
I kind of like when he found out that this one lady was stealing from the store. He just fucking fired her ass right on the spot.
Yeah. It would have been interesting to see, you know, if they contrast that. Then go to Jeremy. Okay, Jeremy, this is just for us. This is just for fun. Same situation, but Ari's the one who's firing this bitch. Okay? And go.
Yeah.
Just improv. You know, as many F-bombs as you want to drop, go for it. It's, you know, this will just be for the gag reel, you know, gag reel for the Christmas party. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, what really kind of surprised me was that I actually recognized the actress playing Harry's mother. She was in that Sean Connery movie, Outland.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she was O'Neill's wife.
Yeah.
And then they also had that one girl from Battlestar Galactica. Not the original, the
the reboot, yeah. Well, we're starting to wander around here, don't we?
Yeah, well, maybe that's a sign we need to wrap.
Probably, I think we exhausted the thing. So again, nobody's offering any subject, any questions here. I mean, that's why I'm getting open it for a chat. But I might attempt a Fortnite stream later. I don't know. I'll see how the game behaves off, you know, without the streaming. Gonna get some tasks done, but otherwise, I think we're just gonna go ahead and call it here. So, and yes, I have been, you know, jumping to the Lily Phillips thing. It's like, in that case, though, the sympathy only goes so far. But it's like, yeah, she clearly not. There's a self-destructive pattern here, but it's like, I just offered, it's like a little advice. It's like, unless you know who's coming through that door and you know their medical history, make sure every swinging dick that comes in there to join in your 1,000-person train has been seriously medically checked. All it takes is one activist with a terminal STD to just ruin it for you and anybody who comes after him.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm not sure how, logistically, even 24 hours straight, it's like that still only allows about a minute and a half per dick.
Aye.
Yeah, unless the record does not require, yeah. And then how loose are they going to determine, like engaging in sex with a person? Okay, is it going to be vaginal penetration only? If that case, it's like stress. Okay, next, and forget anybody actually having an orgasm. Because in order to pull off, with even in order to do it within a 24-hour period with 1,000 guys, we're talking having to do them 5 at a time, and even then, pretty quick. Okay.
Yeah.
We're only talking a few minutes. Not everyone's going to come. So, and as she felt kind of empty and dissociated, from 100 guys, it's like, it's just one of those cases of like, really, what the hell? I mean, her parents are, they know what she does. They don't get the details, but they're supporting her. And they're literally managing the money, so they're literally counting the money. So like, yeah, she did this. She masterminded herself, but this is a product of what the society has done here. So I think we'll call it at that point if we're getting down that rabbit hole. But
yeah, getting a little too far down the rabbit
hole. Yeah, it's like it's like others have joined. I mean, I posted from various sources have jumped on the story because it's gotten that much attention. We'll talk at you later.